Wolves96, but the O is 0, and we are here with the penultimate video in this month of Euros themed content. And with the final just around the corner, I thought what would be better than discussing exactly that. Finals, and more specifically, the best finals to have ever taken place in this historic competition. And you know what? There's been some doozies, to say the least, with shock results, underdog stories, and legendary goals. There's a lot for us to dig our teeth into, so sit back, relax, and watch this video on the best European Championship finals of all time. 5th, Greece 1, Portugal 0, 2004, beginning the list here with the biggest shock in this entire competition's history, one of the greatest underdog stories of all time. Greece, relative minnows to the international game, having miraculously drawn against the legendary Spain and beaten tournament host Portugal, defending champions France and outside favourites Czech Republic on their way to the final, where they would once again play tournament host Portugal. The only time a European Championships has started and ended with the same opponents. Despite the unbelievable run throughout the course of the tournament, and despite having lost to Greece in the opening game, Portugal, with the likes of Luis Figo, Deco, and a young Cristiano Ronaldo, was still the favourites to win this game. It was going to take an almighty performance from Greece to have a chance in this match, but as with the rest of the tournament, they definitely stepped up to the plate, deploying a defensive masterclass. They stifled the formidable Portuguese attack and limited their chances, and once again, in typical Greek fashion for the tournament, their goal came from a header midway through the second half, bringing euphoria to everyone but the Portuguese fans as the underdog story carried on its way to the final whistle, and the biggest upset in European Championships history, even more of an upset than the next entry coming up right now. 4th, Denmark 2, Germany 0, 1992, the original underdog story in this competition, taking place 12 years prior to the Greece triumph, was another triumph of another country who were not expected to go so far into the competition. Never mind win the whole thing. In truth, with the politics behind this tournament, following the reunification of the German national team, following the fall of the Berlin Wall, it was all set up for a German victory. But Denmark, well, Denmark felt like ruining the party, and oh boy, how they did. Even after the fact that they weren't originally supposed to be there. Denmark only qualified for this competition due to the fact that the now dissolved Yugoslavia were not allowed to compete in the tournament due to the ongoing war at the time. Denmark crashed the party, drank off the punch, smashed the TV, and rocked out of there as champions. The German team was full of stars such as Klinsmann, Reuter, and Koller, whereas the Danish side, other than Peter Schmeichel in goal, Denmark didn't really have any notable players. Even undoubtedly, Denmark's greatest player of all time, Michael Laudrup, did not feature due to a disagreement with the manager at the time, although his brother Brian did. Germany made the chances, but with Schmeichel in the way, with yet another brilliant performance in this competition, they just could not get the vital goals. And Denmark went through as winners, but let me know what you think. Was this the best cup upset in this competition, or was it Greece in 2004? Here you are, you've made it to the middle of the video and you must be enjoying it so far. So if you'd like to see more videos just like this one, then do us a favour and click on the subscribe button. It helps you see more content and it helps me to make more. It's a win-win. 3rd, Czechoslovakia 2, West Germany 2, 1976. We are taking it all the way back to 1976, a tournament that took place 48 years ago, and it is a tournament that we all know about, even if you don't realise it. And that is because it was the birth of a phrase all of us football fans know: the Panenka. There's not many things in football that have been named after football players. The Cruyff turn or the Maradona turn are examples of these incredibly rare occurrences, but these are players who are absolute legends of the game in their own right. Antonin Panenka, on the other hand, well, he wasn't exactly known to the masses, let's put it that way. A final that found its place in the middle of a decade-long period of West German dominance in international football. Following their World Cup and Euros wins in the two tournaments prior, the West Germany side were on top of the world, literally, and it seemed after an 89th minute equaliser by Bernd Holzenbein that it was written in the stars again for them to go on and win the tournament. Extra time came and went with, out the deadlock being broken. The only way to decide it then would be penalties. Penalties and Germany are two words you don't want to hear as any opposing team, even back in 1976. But with the German side missing their fourth spot kick, up stepped the unfamiliar Antonin Panenka with the biggest kick of his life, and with a softly delicate chip at the ball, his life changed forever as the goalkeeper dived one way, the football hit the back of the net, and the rest is history. Second, Spain 4, Italy 0, 2012. In second place, we have the biggest decimation of any team in a final that is featured within this list. The end of the most dominant period of international football that we have possibly ever seen. Particularly in my lifetime, there has never been a team as dominant as Spain in 2012. Coming off the back of winning the Euros in 2008 and the World Cup in 2010, Spain went into this tournament not only as defending champions, but also as favourites, and they did not disappoint. The players making up this team were all passing gods, and that's exactly what they did. Pass teams to death, and that continued into this final. Italy weren't any pushovers. They were an incredibly good side, and their starting lineup consisted of legends galore in the likes of Gigi Buffon, Chiellini, Bonucci, Pirlo, and Marchisio. But the Spanish side, well, they literally had a world-class player for every single position. And brace yourselves for these names, because it is absolutely frightening looking back at just how unreal this team was. Iker Casillas, Alvaro Arbeloa, Gerard Piqué, Sergio Ramos, Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, Xabi Alonso, Cesc Fabregas, David Silva, and Andres Iniesta. What is that team, though? You have 6 of some of the greatest passing players the game has ever seen, and they are all playing in the same game together. No one had any chance against this team. Even the likes of Pedro, Fernando Torres, and Juan Mata only managed to come off the bench. Any other team, they would have been some of the first names on the team sheet, but no, not this team. A rare David Silva goal, a famous Jordi Alba goal, a classic Fernando Torres goal, and a tapping Juan Mata goal sealed a 4-0 demolition of the Italian side and sealed yet another trophy in the Spanish trophy cabinet, and to bookend this Spanish world dominance. Was it the most dominant team in international football history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. First, Netherlands 2, Soviet Union 0, 1988. Here we are, my top pick, my top final of the European Championships, and it is a final that is older than I am, and a final probably older than you watching. So why have I picked it? Well, a couple of reasons actually. Firstly, the Netherlands, and specifically this 88 team, is probably everyone's or nearly everyone's favourite national team behind their own. Rijkaard, Koeman, Gullit, and Van Basten in that legendary geometric orange Adidas kit. It is just absolutely iconic. There's no other word that better describes it. However, the main reason I picked this final, well, similar to the Panenka, a seriously famous goal took place in this game. One of the greatest goals ever scored, the greatest goal in a European Championship final, and it was scored by that man who I last mentioned, Marco van Basten. Following what continues to be one of the best tournament performances by a single player, a hat-trick against England in the group stages and a late winner against West Germany in the semi-final, Van Basten went on to solidify his status as a legend of the tournament and a legend of the Dutch game. The ball dropped from a height in an impossibly tight angle. Most players would have took a touch and passed it off, but Marco van Basten decided to fire the most audacious volley at lightning speed beyond the opposing goalkeeper to make history, not just for the Netherlands, but for the footballing world as well. It was undoubtedly one of the greatest goals ever scored, and it is why this final is my best European Championship final of all time. And that was it, guys. Another nostalgia-fueled video, and another that I hope you enjoyed. So if you did, why don't you let me know by leaving a like and a comment on the video? And if you really enjoyed it, then make sure you subscribe too. After doing all of those things and deciding that you want to support the channel some more, you could find me on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch under the handle Bolts96. But as always, the O is a 0. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.